Thank you so much for dropping us your questions. I could see your chats and questions here. Good evening, Karthik. Good evening, Zakaria. All right, I think we're good to go. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another very informative session on Shiksha. I'm Bhagyashree Gupta, your moderator for this very session. So, the topic for today's webinar is how to prepare for JEE Main and Class 12 together. You know, as the JEE exams are approaching and so are both, so students are preparing for both, they might find it difficult, to juggle between the two. So definitely today's webinar will help and guide you all in the very right way. And now I would like to welcome our esteemed speaker, Mr. Rohit Gupta, who is the Chief Academic Officer of Physics Wallah, a very reputed coaching institute. So thank you so much for joining us here for this amazing session. What would you like to say to all the students?
First of all, thank you for having me. And hello students, कैसे हैं आप सब लोग? उम्मीद कर रहा हूँ कि आप लोगों की प्रिपरेशन काफी अच्छी चल रही होगी। बट जैसे मैंने कहा कि क्लास 12 की प्रिपरेशन के साथ साथ जेईई मेंस की प्रिपरेशन कैसे की जाए, दैट्स व्हाट वी नीड टू एड्रेस हियर। सो क्लास 12 का जो सिलेबस है और जो जेईई मेंस का सिलेबस है, दैट इज ऑलमोस्ट इन सिंक, वो लगभग सेम है। हालांकि इस बार कुछ कोविड के चलते हुए चीजें रिड्यूस की गई हैं सिलेबस के अंदर, तो कुछ कम प्रिपेयर करना है फॉर स्कूल एग्जामिनेशन, बट जेईई मेंस के लिए आपको लगभग पूरा सिलेबस ही प्रिपेयर करना है, वहां पे कुछ रिड्यूस नहीं किया गया। सेकंड थिंग इज द अप्रोच ऑफ द पेपर, कि जो आप जेईई मेंस के लिए प्रिपेयर करते हैं उसमें आपको ऑब्जेक्टिव की तरीके से प्रिपेयर करना होता है, और जो आप प्रिपेयर करते हैं स्कूल के लिए वो आप टर्म 2 में आपको सब्जेक्टिव प्रिपेयर करना रहेगा। टर्म 1 वाज मोर और लेस लाइक जेईई मेंस ओनली बट ऑन अ इजियर लेवल। बट अगर मैं इस सेशन की बात करता हूँ तो टर्म 2 में आपका सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस आने वाले हैं, तो जिसमें आपको लिखने की थोड़ी सी प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी। सो मेरी रिकमेंडेशन ये रहेगी बच्चों के लिए कि दे शुड प्रिपेयर फॉर जेईई मेंस फर्स्ट, एंड उसके बाद अगर उनको जेईई मेंस की चीजें आ गई हैं, दैट मींस उन्होंने पूरा सिलेबस कर लिया है, सारे कंसेप्ट उन्होंने अच्छे से प्रिपेयर कर लिए हैं, उनके कंसेप्चुअली सारी चीजें क्लियर है, बट अभी उनको लिखना नहीं आया है स्कूल के लिए, तो स्कूल के लिए उनको लिखने के लिए कुछ लिखकर प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी। जैसे कि डेरिवेशंस होती हैं, सारी इंपॉर्टेंट डेरिवेशंस, सारे इंपॉर्टेंट कंसेप्ट्स, डेफिनेशंस जो होती हैं उनको याद करनी पड़ेगी। न्यूमेरिकल्स जहां तक बात आती है, तो जो बच्चा जेईई मेंस की प्रिपरेशन कर रहा है वो न्यूमेरिकल आसानी से कर सकता है, ठीक है। तो न्यूमेरिकल्स अगर मैं बात करता हूँ स्कूल के एग्जामिनेशन के लिए, तो वो लगभग 30% न्यूमेरिकल्स आते हैं, रेस्ट आर द थ्योरी बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस जो कि एग्जाम में पूछे जाते हैं नॉर्मली। तो उन क्वेश्चंस के लिए बच्चा जो है वो क्या नाम है, उसको एनसीईआरटी जरूर पढ़नी चाहिए आफ्टर प्रिपेयरिंग द जेईई मेंस एग्जामिनेशन। तो जेईई मेन एग्जामिनेशन के बाद वो अगर प्रिपेयर करता है एनसीईआरटी से, एक बार रीड करता है उसको थोरली, लास्ट ईयर के सीबीएसई के पेपर्स अगर वो पढ़ के जाता है तो उसका सीबीएसई में अच्छे मार्क्स आराम से आएंगे। बस उसको लिखना आना चाहिए अच्छे से तरीके से, डायग्राम्स वो पूरा डिटेल बनाए, अच्छे से सुंदर डायग्राम्स बनाए, हर 2 क्वेश्चंस के बाद प्रॉपर स्पेस जो है वो छोड़े, वहां पर हैंड राइटिंग बहुत मैटर करेगी, बच्चे के लिखने का स्टाइल बहुत मैटर करेगा। तो थोड़ा सा बस वो अगर अच्छे से करता है तो मुझे लगता है कि उसके सीबीएसई में बहुत अच्छे नंबर आएंगे along with JEE।
Right. Thank you, sir, for that amazing beginning. All right. I would like to take questions from students, and I could see a lot of questions coming here. Definitely, the time is very less, and I know, the kind of thing that happens is preparing for both, as both are very, very, important. So I'll just take a question over here. A student wants to know, what if I want to drop a year? Is it a constructive idea or not? So what would you advise him?
Yes. So what I feel is that students should give themselves a chance, so that in the later stages they should not regret that if I would have dropped for a year and tried, then I would have gone for a better college or better stream, Yes. So जो decisions आप आज लेंगे, I think that उनका जो effect होगा वो आपको आने वाले years में दिखता है। तो अगर आपको लगता है कि you can crack it, then you must give yourself a good chance and uske liye if you have to drop a year, you should do it, because that 1 year will not create a major role in your life, that you have lose 1 year in preparation. But if you get selected in a good college with a good stream, that will play a major role in your life. So I think, if you believe, if you trust that you can put a lot of effort and you can crack the examination, then you should take a drop, and you should not hesitate in it. You should take a drop and prepare for it, so that for the lifetime it is settled that I have given my best, and I have taken I utilized my full talent there, and I have worked for it. And now if it is not happened it for me, though, it's okay. I have given my best, right? So definitely, if a student think that he can crack it, then he should take a drop and give himself a chance to crack the examination.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. Students also want to know that if they want to cover the entire syllabus in 2 months, or let's say in just 1 month. So, sir, what exactly should be that strategy, a planning that, ideally they should follow to complete the entire thing in 2 months, or let's say in just 1 month? A lot of them have exams, like in between they have the boards, and then they have the JEE Mains. So a lot of them are, juggling in between them. So if we give them a time, like they have to prepare in 2 months or in 1 month, so what exactly should be their preparation strategy?
So to be honest, it's next to impossible to cover the whole syllabus in just 1 month, right? So in 1 month, what you can do is you can brush up the things that you already know, right? So if your preparation is nil, if you say that I don't have any preparation at all, and some magic wand is there that make me prepare for JEE main examination, which is like one of the most competitive examination in just 1 month, it's pretty difficult, right? So best thing would be that if you still want to do it, then there is a strategy for it, but it's very difficult, to crack the examination just in 1 month. My strategy would be, I would focus on class 12 exam, class 12 syllabus first, because I have studied it in this year only, right? So I have studied it recently, so I'll complete the class 12 and focus on it. Then I'll find out the topics in which I am more confident, So I'll choose those topics of 11th class, which are my favorite topics, in which I am more comfortable. Okay, because I would have good chance in solving a question which is my forte, right? So अगर मैं ऐसा कोई टॉपिक उठाता हूँ which is very tough, and उस टॉपिक से भले ही क्वेश्चन आते हैं, but in 1 month of time it is very difficult for me to crack that difficult topic, and it's very tough कि मैं एग्जाम में उस चीज को इसको लेके जा सकूं. So basically my philosophy is, आसान question is also 4 marks, difficult question is also 4 marks. Then why to do the difficult question? If you have less time, then you must strategize. Class 12 you should focus on class 12 first, because you have done it recently, right? And second thing is 11th class ke choose those topics which are your strength, play at your strength, right? And choose those topics which you can definitely do easily. Then you can find out those topics which are favorite of the examination, which are repeatedly asked in the examination, and try to do those questions. And in this limited time, what is must is the previous year questions, right? You do the previous year questions. Nothing is better than previous year questions in this limited amount of time.
Right, absolutely, sir. So I think that really well answers the entire preparation strategy that a lot of them were having here. All right, let us come to some more questions. So a lot of them are saying here, I could see a few students who have mentioned that, they have watched a lot of YouTube content for preparing JEE, and, they get stuck over there that because, those videos talk about preparing JEE in 1 month and, getting good results and giving, very good exam. But they are really confused in that is the right thing to do just watching those videos on JEE and then, taking up the entire thing in 1 month? Like as you suggested, it's a very next to impossible thing, right, to complete the entire thing. So is it the right thing that they're doing is like getting up those videos and getting those information and starting working on it? Is that the right thing to do for them at this point of time?
Right. So yes, you will see a lot of content online, right?
Yes,
but
sir.
you have to consume it and understand it. So if you see that video and you see that is adding value to you, and you are able to understand it, that means you have some preparation. You already have some preparation, right? So if a video is there which says that I'm going to teach you this particular topic in 5 hours or 6 hours, right? That means that topic is delivered in a very fast pace, right? And if as a student you are watching it and you are able to understand it, and then you can use those concepts to solve the problems, and you're able to solve the problems, that means that video is useful for you, right? But if you're just watching it and you're not solving problems, you're not trying to apply the concept you are learning in that video, then that video will be useless for you, right? So JEE Mains is about applying the concept that you are learning. So the end goal that we want to achieve is a student should be able to solve the problems present in front of him, right? And for that they need the concepts. Okay, so what the teacher can do is to teach the concepts. They will try to make it more efficient. They will try to it's like if there is a video, if you go and watch a movie, right, which is like 3 hours length, and you want to watch it in 1 hour, you have to cut down the songs, you have to cut down some of the parts of it, right? Or you have to watch it at 1.5x. Then only you will be able to shrink the 3 hours movie into 1.5 hours, right? Or 1 hour. Okay, so the teacher will try to cut down that noises, cut down the music and every other aspect of it, and focus only on the important parts of it. But if you are able to consume it and understand it, then it will be useful for you. Otherwise, it is not useful.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. Okay, I am just moving here to some more questions. All right. So there's another common question that I could see is, do you recommend self-study or taking help from some coaching institutes? What exactly should they go for? I mean, should they go in for a coaching institute, or self-study is the best at this point of time?
Even if you go for a coaching, it is not a replacement of self-study. Self-study is something that you have to do, even if you are going to a coaching institute or even watching some videos on YouTube, right? So by self-study, what we mean again is that you are going back with the concept that is taught to you, or you have read from a book, and you're trying to apply those concepts and try to learn from it, try to draw some conclusions out of it and try to solve the numericals, right? So, but why the coaching is required? Okay, the coaching is required to reduce your time and effort and guide you so that you are not in a question, in a confusing state, if I'm going in the right direction or not, right? So when you start doing the self-study without any guidance from the experts, right, then you will always be confused that if I'm going in the right direction or not, if I'm following the right books or not, if I'm studying the right content or not, kya ye exam ke liye important hai ki nahi hai? Okay, so for that you need an expert who can tell you that these are the most important topics for you. Second thing that the coaching institutes or the teachers can do for you is they can reduce your time a lot. A concept when you start doing the self-study, which is not taught to you from any other person or another teacher, then it will take a lot of time to grasp. And then you will have lots of doubts. Who will clear those doubts, right? For that, the teachers are there. Ultimately, you will figure it out by doing the self-study as well, but that will require a lot of time and efforts, right? But agar aapke paas ek teacher, ek coach hai, they can tell you that this is done in this manner. They will give you the examples. They will give you the mental models. They will tell you lots of tricks and techniques to learn the things, okay? And they can also guide you that this portion is more important. You should do it in this manner. And during the journey of preparation, they can motivate you, right? If I say the role of a teacher is not just to tell the concepts, but it is to train the people, right? Train the students, because ये जो journey होती है 11th and 12th class की, it's big journey, and students tend to get demotivated, and then the role of the teacher comes in, and they will keep on motivating them, then keep pushing hard and keep doing the work, right? So I think that a good teacher, a good coach is required in this journey. This will make the things very easy for the students. But still, even if you have a good teacher, you have to do the self-study a lot. आपको पढ़ना तो पड़ेगा, बहुत कुछ पढ़ना पड़ेगा, खुद से पढ़ना पड़ेगा, खुद से मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, then only you will be able to succeed in the examination. Otherwise there is no use. Even if you join a coaching institute, you will see that the result of that coaching institute, beat any coaching institute, is like 10% or 15%, right? Because rest of the students need to work hard on the self study. Teacher is teaching same to everyone, but only 10% of the students are able to crack the examination, and 90% are not able to crack the examination. And the reason behind it is that they are not doing the self-study, required self-study that they should do, right? So if they are able to do the self-study after they get the coaching from a teacher, it will be the best combination to crack the examination.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. Another very common question that I could see in the chats and in the Q&A section is, without studying 11th at all, can they really score good in JEE Mains? Because I see a lot of them have not studied well or had a drop or something had happened in 11th. So can they really focus on JEE Mains if not 11th?
ये क्वेश्चन हमारे को भी बहुत पूछते हैं बच्चे, मतलब बच्चा ये कहता है कि 11th बर्बाद हो गया हमारा. It's completely ruined. What we need to do in class 12th now. So technically speaking, 12th class का जो वेटेज रहता है एग्जाम के अंदर, वो 45% के आसपास रहता है, 45 to 50%, normally 45% के आसपास रहता है in JEE Mains. And to crack the examination and get selected into the some college, good decent college in good decent stream, you require 55 to 60% marks. So even if you are having 55 to 60% marks in JEE Mains, you will have some college, some stream, a decent college and decent stream, right? So technically speaking, if you are doing only 12th class, there is a slight chance that you can, get into a decent college with a decent stream, but then you have to prepare very well. It's like whatever question of class 12 is coming, you have to crack it, right? But it is very difficult because there are some topics of some chapters of the class 12 which require the knowledge of class 11th as well, right? So even if your class 11th is strong, then only you can apply them and do it in class 12. Like in chemistry, you need to do the organic of the 11th class as well. Similarly, there are some topics in mathematics, limits, and there are some topics in physics as well. Like if I talk about electrostatics, some questions of the electrostatics can be combined with the concepts of 11th class, like SHM and electrostatics can be combined to make a question, right? So it becomes very, very tough. So technically, it is possible to crack, but practically speaking, it is highly unlikely that only 12 can make you crack into a good college. So what you have to do is you have to cover at least 80% of the syllabus. At least 80% of the syllabus you should do, right? And then from the 80% of the syllabus, if you do 80% in the examination, right? So out of 80%, you crack 80%. 20% it's like human error that you will not be able to do, right? So 80% is like 60% marks you will get, 64% marks you will get, right? And 64% marks, that means you will be able to reach in a decent college with a decent stream. So only 12th is very, very difficult, but 11th plus 12, 80% syllabus, 20% you can leave, you will be able to crack a decent college with decent streams.
Right, and I could see the similar questions coming here from Ayushman and Harshada. So Ayushman, Harshada, and all of you who were asking about 11th and 12th. So I think Sir has answered that really well. How and what exactly is important and what is not important. So I would request that I think this is the best guidance that you have for this last moment. So please do follow this and understand whatever guidance is being given to you here. Right, sir. Let's just move to some other questions. So NCERT books, as you did mention, NCERT syllabus is very, very important. So a lot of students also want to know if they are only preparing from NCERT, is that enough for JEE or there is something extra or additional they really need to put in?
For JEE Mains NCERT, I won't really say it is enough. with NCERT, you should do exemplar at least. If you do NCERT exemplar along with the NCERT main books, right? That can be, a good combination to crack the JEE examination. And also, the question should also be linked with, like, do I only want to just get selected in the competition examination, or do I want a very good rank in the JEE Mains? If I want to have a very good rank, then I think you have to go beyond NCERT and you have to do some good material. There are some very good books that you can do. In fact, Physics Wallah DL can also provides the DLP material, right? So that should be also used. There is a need to go beyond NCERT to crack the JEE examination with a good rank.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. All right. Coming to the syllabus for JEE, or let's just say the important topics that they really need to put weightage on. So, sir, what are the important topics that they really need to work on? And, those chapters or topics have more weightage and students just cannot skip it by any chance, if you would like to tell them.
So, if I say again, my philosophy is to play at your strengths, right? So if we are addressing the class 12th audience, and that's what I'm assuming, that we are addressing the class 12th audience, and in this time frame that we are having, right? So I would suggest is to go and आप list कर लें अपने सारे topics को according to your strength, according to your comfort, right? That I think that I can crack the question if the question is from this chapter, and उसके लिए हिसाब से वो rate कर लें उन chapters को, right? So let me elaborate on what I'm trying to say here. Suppose I take a chapter that is rotational motion. It's a topic from the physics, a chapter from the physics book, and it's one of the most difficult chapters of the whole complete physics, right? So what happens is the weightage of rotation is good in the examination. Every year we see 2 or 3 questions from rotation, right? So it's a good weightage if I talk about in terms of the examination. But it is a very, very tough chapter, and students struggle a lot in this chapter, and there is a very less probability that if a question from this chapter comes, then they will be able to solve it, because it's a tough chapter, they are struggling in it, right? So even if the weightage of the chapter is on the higher side, but still I would recommend, if you're not comfortable with this chapter, then the time is very limited now and you should not go after it. What you can do is you can figure out the topics in this chapter. आप इस चैप्टर के अंदर से टॉपिक फिगर आउट कर सकते हैं, जैसे कि रोटेशन मोशन के अंदर there is a topic named movement of inertia, right? Now this topic is very simple, so the complete chapter is not difficult. There are portions of this chapter which are simple enough, right? So if you pick that rotation is very tough, but let me do movement of inertia only, and there's a good chance that you will have 1 or 2 questions from the movement of inertia that you can crack, right? So first thing is आप लिस्ट बनाएं आपके कंफर्ट के हिसाब से, ठीक है, कि आप किस चैप्टर में कितना कंफर्ट रखते हैं. जिसमें कंफर्ट ज्यादा है, that chapter should not be left, and you should strengthen those chapter more. But if I come down to कि competition के point of view से कौन से chapter ज्यादा important है, so I would say कि there are some chapters which are very important and very easy as well. You should not leave those chapters. Like in physics, you must do modern physics. You must do units and measurement. If I talk about chemistry, then you have coordination, compounds, chemical bonding. They are very good, very important chapter. In fact, GOC is also very important. If I talk mathematics, then you have conic section, very, very important. Then you have calculus, the integral and differential calculus. They are very, very important, right? So many questions are there. So these chapters that you must do. You cannot leave these chapters.
All right. I think since I was getting the questions related to the topics, so students, we have already answered this. Sir has really well answered what all topics you really need to focus on. So please do watch the entire video. All right, sir, coming to some other very important questions. if is it like very important to cover the, as you have mentioned, the entire syllabus of JEE Main? So is it very important to cover the entire syllabus, or would you suggest that there are some topics that might be skipped or that is less of importance? So is there any chapter which can be skipped at all?
So again, my philosophy is the same thing. I'm repeating it again, that if you're not comfortable with the chapter, then you should not really, it's not a time that you should go in and make it strengthen, right? You should strengthen your strengths. You should work on your strength. It's like if you're playing cricket and you're not very comfortable in a hook shot, right? Then you must leave the bouncers, right? So though you should, if you try and play the bouncers, you will get out. You'll nick it and you'll get out, right? So what you should focus on is, if there's a bouncer, leave it. The question that is in your comfort zone, smash it, right? So आपको अपनी strength पे खेलना है. तो जैसे कि मैंने आपको overall picture दिया, that 80% of the syllabus should be covered if you want to secure a good college with a good stream. Like at least 80% of the syllabus तो आपको करना चाहिए. इससे कम करके जाएंगे तो it becomes even more difficult to crack a decent college. The rest of the 20% syllabus, you can tend to be like, yeah, okay, I'm not able to do it, so I leave it. And वो जो 20% आप leave कर रहे हैं, that should be the one जिसमें आपका comfort zone नहीं है, right? So rather than कि exam में weightage किसका क्या ज़्यादा है, I would say कि जिसमें आपका comfort zone नहीं है, आप try and tend to leave those chapters. And जिसमें weightage ज़्यादा है, अगर आप वो चैप्टर आपके कंफर्ट जोन में नहीं है, तो उस पूरे चैप्टर में से ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट द टॉपिक्स जो कि आप कर सकते हो, और वो टॉपिक्स आप कर दो. Instead of leaving the complete chapter, leave portion of the chapters.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. Sir, we've also seen several state boards have reduced their class 12 boards exam syllabus because of the current situation. But we couldn't see any changes in the syllabus of JEE Main. So since students who are preparing for boards with the reduced syllabus, so how would they plan on track accordingly for the JEE syllabus, because that has not been reduced, but the boards had been reduced. So how would they go on track with them?
They have to prepare for the topics which are not there in the board examination now. But JEE Main में वो अगर आते हैं तो they have to go about it. But they can leave the derivation part of it. They can leave the, for example, if I give you an example, there is a topic optical instruments, right? And if that topic is not in the boards anymore, if in your boards anymore, then you can just cram the formulas of it. At least, just remember the formulas of it and try to solve the questions based on the formula, right? That will help you, that if a question from that topic comes and you at least know the formula, there's a decent chance that you'll be able to crack it. But otherwise, if there's a topic which is not in the board examination but in the JEE Mains, you should read it and study it and practice some questions on it, so that you will be able to crack the questions in the examination. There's no other alternative of it, that they have to prepare for those topics. That's what I can say.
Right. So thank you for that answer. So let's just talk about the negative marking, since we have heard that JEE Main 2022 will also have negative marking. So how would that affect the students' score?
So negative marking is a very important criteria. It's a very, very important criteria. In fact, this time we are having negative marking in the integer type questions as well. So earlier we didn't have the negative marking in the integer type, but now this time we are having negative marking in the integer type questions as well. So when we are doing the single correct type of question, where we are having 4 options. No. If you are guessing the answer, the probability of getting it correct, was in your favor. How it was in your favor? Because you're having 4 marks and you're having 25% chance of getting it correct. So in all, you're having 25% multiplied by 4 marks. That means 1 in your favor, and negative marking ke liye you're having 3/4. So that is why probability speaking, their guessing work was in your favor. but we never encourage students to do the guesswork because the probability work on the mass scale. But you're having very limited number of questions only, so we don't really recommend students to do the guesswork. So negative marking is very important because it is like it eats up from the marks that you are getting by making the questions correct. So you have to be very, very precise in what you are answering. And for that, you have to practice it in that fashion only. So why the student do negative marking? There is a reason behind it. There is a whole psychological reason behind it. So if I take a little time here and explain what I'm trying to say here is, suppose you want to run a race, and the race is like a sprint. It's a sprint. In the sprint, you have to run very fast for a very small amount of time. You have to run very, very fast. It's like for 200-meter sprint or 400-meter sprint. So you have to run very fast in the sprint, and you're preparing for it, but you're preparing like a marathon. So आप बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हो. You are running. You are practicing the running. You are running from 7 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock in the night, but you're running slowly, consistently but slowly, right? But on the judgment day, when you have to run a sprint, your practice will not really matter here because you didn't practice running very fast, right? So this is what happens. But the student जब घर पे practice करता है अपने examination में, then he practices like he's running a marathon. He's studying in a very leisure mode. He does question very slowly. He sees the answer after doing every question. And but in the examination, he suddenly has to do 25 questions in just 1 hour, right? And suddenly he realized that he didn't have that speed, he didn't have that accuracy, and then the stress level increases, and then he starts doing the negative marking. He start marking those answers which he is not even confident about, right? So this is the stress that kicks in, and it is kicking in because he didn't prepare like the examination. So what the student needs to do here is to reduce the negative marking is they need to simulate the situation of the examination, condition of the examination, right? Condition of the examination, and prepare accordingly. So they should put a timer. They should have a timer while preparing, and they should take like 30 questions or 20 questions or 10 questions, whatever. But they should do it in like they do in the examination.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. And yes, I could see some questions that we have in chat session as well. So Ayushman wants to know, in drop year, can we get good rank in JEE Advance if I have prepared only for boards? So what would be your suggestion, sir?
It's very tough. It's very tough. Reason being, if I say that in board examination, we have many more students who are scoring more than 90% marks, but in IIT Advance we have very limited number of seats. So IIT Advance is basically a clash between champions of champions. So you have to work much more harder to crack the IIT Advance. Otherwise, if you are really gifted, right, that you prepare only for the boards, then only you will be able to crack the examination. But it's very highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely. So you have to take a specialized training to get the IIT Advanced rank. So you have to do different books which are giving the questions. In fact, the pattern of the IIT Advance is completely different. They ask the comprehensions, they ask the integer type questions, they ask the matrix match type of question, they ask the multiple correct type of questions. So again, the same concept of sprint and marathon is here, that you are preparing like a marathon, but you want to run a sprint. So it's highly unlikely that you run it for the first time and you win the race.
Right, sir. All right, I could see a question, in fact, 2 questions coming from Mehek. So the one question that she wants to know is strategy to score 180 plus in JEE Main. And the other part of the question is, what are the minimum marks required to qualify for JEE Advanced? If you would like to help out with that, sir.
Okay. So one thing is that if you want to score 180 plus, that means you're talking about around 60-70% of marks. So for that, again, you have to cover at least 80% syllabus, and that 80% should be your strength. It should be like, if I'm preparing only the 80% syllabus, then I will be at least crack the 90% of the question that will come from this part. Right. So the strategy would be, again, to cover maximum syllabus that you can, leave the topics which are not in your comfort zone, and your comfort zone should be at least in 80% of the syllabus, and you should be able to score at least 80 to 90% from the syllabus that you have prepared. Then you'll be able to get the 180 plus marks in the JEE Main examination. Right. And the minimum marks depends on the the difficulty level of the paper, because we select around 250,000 students for the JEE Advance preparation, and the number slightly goes up and down. But again, we are qualifying 250,000 students for JEE Advanced paper, but they are not going to, all of them are not going to select in the JEE Advanced, right? Only a fraction of it is going to get selected in the JEE Advanced, right? So even if you get qualified for the JEE Advanced, you have to put lots of efforts, to get a seat in the JEE, to get a seat in the IITs.
All right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. So, yes, I could see some other questions also. So, another very interesting question that I could see here is, can I get admission in BTech without giving JEE? So, is that really possible, sir?
Yes, there are so many examinations which are not JEE. So there are different state engineering examinations are there, like VIT EEE, BITSAT, which gives you admission in the BITS Pilani. So there are other state engineering examinations as well, which you can give other than JEE Mains. But you have to give some exam, either the JEE Mains or the state engineering examination. It is a little easier to get selected in the state engineering examination compared to the JEE Mains, because JEE Mains is a complete national level examination, right? So for different states, we have different examination, like we have WBJE, we have VIT EEE, we have BITSAT, we have ComDec, we have UP, SCEE, right? So there's different examination that you can give to get selected in the engineering examinations.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. Coming to another very important question, sir. How important are previous year's papers and mock test papers for preparation?
They are highly recommended. They are highly recommended because, like I told you, that you have to simulate the conditions of the examination, right? And the best way of simulating is, let's try to see what has been asked in the previous examination, right? So you have to do the previous year examination in two formats. The first format is chapter-wise topics. So while the whole year preparation, you have to do the previous year questions chapter by chapter. You prepare for one chapter, do the previous years of those chapters as well, right? So for whole year preparation, you have to do the previous year chapter by chapter. But when you approach the end, like the time right now is, then you should do the paper like a paper. You take like, let's say you take 2020 year, you take one paper of 2020 year, right? Last year paper aapne liya, and you set a timer of 3 hours and do it like you do in the examination, right? And then you see how much marks you are getting, how much negative marking you are doing. Then only you will be like running the race the way it is going to be on the judgment day. So that will help you figure out where you are standing. That will help you realize so many things, that you are doing lots of negative marking, so you should avoid it. You'll find out that this particular things are asked a lot of time in the examination, So let me go and study this particular topic, because I'm not feeling very comfortable in this particular topic. But if I crack this one, then I will be able to solve the question if the same question comes in this year. Sometimes some repeated question also comes. So that is why the previous year questions are highly recommended. That will solve lots of purposes and give you lots of insights. That they will help in calming down your nerves as well. Sometimes we are preparing from the books, or we are giving the tests which are we are taking some examination from some XYZ coaching institute, but they are not giving us the paper which are relevant for us. Either they are giving very high difficult questions that was decreasing our morale, or they're giving very easy questions, so we are not able to simulate the right conditions, right? So in both the cases, the student is not able to judge himself very well, and he suffers in the final examination where he is not able to perform well, right? So if they do the previous year, they will know their reality, where they are standing, and that will help them out in the final examination.
Right. So moving to our next question. So as we have seen, JEE Main has now only 2 attempts. So how should students plan their preparation for the second attempt if they are not able to score good in the first one? And if any student secures good percentile in the very first attempt, so should he or she appear in the second one, or rather he could start focusing for JEE Advanced? What would be your suggestion, sir?
Okay. So this time, what happened is the board examination is sandwiched between the 2 attempts, and we don't have much space, So I would recommend you to prepare very hard for the first attempt. For the second attempt, we will not have a very big window to do the preparation further. But what you should do is keep giving the test even during the board examination time. Take out 3 hours time, give a test. Either join a test series from some place, and if not that, you take out the printout of the previous year examination and try to give it at home. So that will help you, being in touch with all the concepts that you have prepared for the term one, for the first attempt, right? So जिस time पे आपका board चल रहा होगा, उस time पे भी आप touch में रहोगे. You will not forget it. And second thing is a revision. You should have the shorthand notes of all the chapters. So if you haven't really prepared till now, you should go and prepare it. Now in those notes, what you have to do is you have to write all the important points that you should remember, all the formulas that you need to remember, and you have to revise them. So when you go and give the test, just revise all the concepts, because there are 3 different subjects: physics, chemistry, and maths, and there are 2-year syllabus, 11th and 12th. There will be like so many chapters and so many formulas, so many concepts. So if you don't revise them again and again, then there will be a problem. So if I talk about revision, बच्चों का एक बहुत बड़ा question होता है, sir, how to do the revision. So if I take a small time and elaborate on that point as well, although students ने भी ज़्यादा पूछा नहीं था उसके बारे में, but still I know जब बच्चा करने जाएगा तो उसमें दिक्कत आएगी. So revision बच्चा बहुत गलत तरीके से करता है. That is why he struggle a lot. वो बहुत struggle करता है बच्चा. So revision बच्चा करता है किताब खोल के, ठीक है ना, कि भैया मैंने किताब खोली, पढ़ लिया, तो लिखा हुआ था, मेरी रिवीजन हो गई. But that is not a revision. That's reading. Revision means recalling, right? Okay, exam में उसका book नहीं है. It's not an open book examination. He need to recall the formulas, right? So to recall the formula, he has to first practice it at home by closing the book and recalling it. So what he need to do is, he should have all the formula written at one place, that is short notes, then close the book and start remembering it. Close the eyes, start remembering. Like first I studied the mirror formula, then I studied this thing, then I studied lens, then I studied prism, then I studied the optical instruments. Mirror formula is this, and the lens formula is this, the refraction formula is, and so on. He need to revise, recall in his brain, and जहाँ पे वो stuck होता है, there he should open the copy and see. You know, जब वो 2-3 बार ये practice करेगा, he will know where he is struggling to recall. And then he need to make some, you know, some sort of story or something, some mnemonics or something to remember that particular thing only, right? So once he do that, he will never forget. He will never forget the formula. So even if I used to struggle with some of the formulas, and I have made some stories for it. And when I used to teach the student, I used to tell them those stories as well, how to easily remember these things. Right. So, for example, there is one formula for the damping. You know, those students, those who are listening, they must be knowing this formula. So there's a term like e to the power minus bt by 2m in the damping factor. So the formula e to the power minus bt by 2m, I used to have a difficult time remembering that formula. So you know, I just made a story around it that bt by 2m means bit to bit tikki khaoge double mote ho jaoge. You know, so bt by 2m, and just made a mnemonic out of it, and that helped me remember that formula, but I don't forget it in the examination. You know, so for this period where the board is sandwiched, so what students need to do is they need to do the revision first thing. Secondly, they should keep giving the test. You know, at least they should give 5 to 6 tests between these 2 attempts. That will enhance their performance. And third thing is the self-analysis, where they are doing wrong, where they're doing right, what are their key strength points, and what are their weak points, and they should work on it. These are the things that they can do during this time.
Right, sir. Thank you for that lovely explanation. I think that really helps them with those. I think with those examples, that really well makes them understand that what exactly they need to figure out. All right. So, Lokesh, I think we have already discussed the entire session is about these the preparation. So, I would recommend that do watch the entire video, as sir has been explaining the entire thing very well, and it will be quite easier for all of you who have been, you know, who are planning and studying for the JEE exams. All right, sir, I would like to take another question from students over here. Aparna, just, you know, connecting to the last discussion that we were having, Aparna wants to know, if I'm getting good marks in JEE mains, but not able to qualify for advance, can still she get admission in good colleges, like be it IITs or be it NITs? Is that possible?
So she's saying that she get good marks in the JEE mains, right?
Yes, but not able to qualify for JEE Advance.
Okay. So if you're not able to qualify for the JEE Advance, then you will not be able to go into the IITs. You know, JEE Advance is specifically for the IITs. For NITs, NSIT, DTU, and other colleges, you are having JEE mains. So if you are having a good percentile, let's say 98 percentile, 99 percentile, then you will be able to get a decent college with a good stream. You know, you will easily get that. So NITs you will get through the JEE mains only, right? So even if now lots of other you know, state engineering examination, state universities are also taking admission from the JEE mains marks only. You know, so lots of there, like Thapad universities there, VITs there, IP universities taking admission from the IIT mains examination. So lots of other colleges are taking admissions from the IIT mains only. So there's lots of options for the students, you know, for taking admission in good engineering examination if they get good marks in IIT mains.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that answer. All right. I could see another very important question that comes from Shagufta Hussain. So she wants to know, during the exam, what exactly should be the tips to solve the entire paper? I mean, what should they start on working? Like, you have to give the entire paper in a given time. So what should be their that time strategy, that, okay, I'll have to complete this section in this particular time and then move to the next. So what would you suggest, sir, according to that?
Okay. So what happens is students prepare a lot for the questions, but they don't really prepare for the stress, right? So students used to get a lot stressed out in the examination, and that's why they tend to lose a lot of marks in the examination. So my strategy to solve the paper would be, choose the topic, choose a subject in which you are most comfortable. If you say that I am very comfortable in chemistry, right, then you should do the chemistry portion first, right? Now this will give you confidence, okay, because that is your strength. You'll be able to do questions. That will give you strength. Second thing is, in the first 15-20 minutes of the time of the paper, first 50-20 minutes, your brain is not really, in that mode of the examination. It takes some time to warm up, So if you start doing the paper, if you start doing that subject which is tough, you might get stuck in the questions for a very long time and will not be able to proceed further because your brain is not very active in the starting 10-15 minutes. So if you start doing the topic, start in the chapter in which you are most confident, then you will have more confidence during the examination. Second tip would be, you should not get stuck. You should not take the question on your ego, right? I will have to solve this question. No. So problem is, students have lots of expectations from themselves. So what happens is, if 3 to 4 questions doesn't really crack in a go, no, they're solving the paper and 4 question aisa hai ki saath mein laga hi nahi unse, then they take it on their ego ki yaar, now 5th question I have to crack it anyhow, and they spend like 10 minutes, 20 minutes on one question only, So they must realize it. If they're not able to solve 5 questions in a row, not a problem. Reason being, the paper must be balanced. They should trust the paper setter that the paper must be balanced. That means if the 5 questions are tough in a row, that means there are going to be some questions which are very easy, these are going to come, right? So they should not forget this, and they should not take the question at their ego that I have to solve this question. Otherwise, what will happen? How will I crack the examination? They should not think about the result. They should not go in the examination with a number. I have to score that much marks. I have to solve that many questions. Even if those numbers are in your head, you'll be able to solve only the question that you know in the examination. But those numbers will haunt you in the examination. They will put you under stress. So don't go in the examination with any target in your mind, right? Just make sure that you are doing the paper with the perfect speed that you have practiced, and you're not spending too much time on one particular question. Try to write the stuff down. When you're reading a question, try to write what is given. Try to make a rough diagram of it. If you don't do it, you have to read the question 2 or 3 times. If you underline the important points in the question, if you write down the what is given in the question, you will not have to read the question again and again, and you will be able to solve it in the first go, right? So next point again would be that आपको तीनों सब्जेक्ट को लगभग बराबर समय देना रहेगा एग्जाम में, ठीक है ना? Don't give it like you give physics like 1.5 hours, chemistry like 1 hour, and then you don't have much time for the mathematics. So give nearly equal time to all the 3 subjects, okay? And I think that would sum it up. Lots of tips I have given,
Yes, sir.
Don't black out in the examination.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we are almost towards the end of the session. So quickly, I'll just take 1 or 2 questions that I could see here. So, firstly, Shagufta just saying that during preparation, we usually get demotivated. We become sick of studying. So what do we do in those situations? If you could like quickly suggest her something. A lot of students have the same problem.
Yes. So, the best way to stay motivated is to take well-defined short-term targets. Well-defined short-term targets. So what happens is, student says that today I will study mathematics. So there is a very highly likelihood that they will study mathematics today. but which chapter and how much, that is not in the goal, not in the target. So that is not a guarantee, right? So when they define a short-term target, it should be defined in a very precise manner. That आज शाम को 5 बजे से 6 बजे तक I will study complex number, and I will study it from this book, and I will do these many questions. So it is highly likely that time would be like 4 hours 55 minutes. 4:55 the time is. You'll be looking at the watch and saying, we have 5 minutes. I'll start it after 5 minutes. And there's a good chance that at exactly 5 p.m. you'll open up the same book that you have written in the goal. You'll open up the chapter that you have written in the goal. You start doing the question that you have written in the goal. So the best way to keep motivated is define your goals of each day, and they should be very well defined. Otherwise, external motivation doesn't really work well. It will work for 1 day or 2 day or 3 day, and then you will be on the same track. So you have to be internally motivated, and to be internally motivated is to have the goals and the targets, and after some time it will be a routine for you. And then there is no need of motivation anymore. It's like you're going to a gym. You will require motivation for maximum for a month. After that, you will get addicted to it, and you will be like, I need to go to the gym. Same thing is with the studies as well. So first 30 days you will require lots of efforts, and for that, what will help you is a routine that you make for yourself, and that routine you will follow even after 1 month, and then you will not feel demotivated anymore. Second thing for feeling demotivated is either you are not practicing good healthy habits. You're not doing yoga, you're not doing meditation, you're not going for a walk. So you're not feeling physically well. You're not feeling fresh in mind. You're not taking good sleep. Right? These things also affect a lot. You get lazy basically. Okay. So once you get lazy, you will not feel motivated to study. So you should adopt the healthy habits as well. And thirdly, don't pressurize yourself a lot by thinking about the outcome of your studies. So if you again keep the thing that if I'll not be able to crack the examination, I'm not able to do good in my internal tests. If you give yourself so much of pressure, then again you will feel demotivated. So don't focus on the outcome too much. Focus on the input, that I need to study. No matter, I will just keep on adding value to my life. I will keep adding more and more concepts to myself, and eventually you will see that a lot of outcome is coming for you. So it's a journey. You have to go through it. You have to live it, and make a routine for yourself and follow it. Have very well short-term targets, and that will keep you motivated.
Right. I think that very well summarizes the entire thing, the entire gist, and the objective behind conducting this webinar. Sir, thank you so much for those encouraging words. And I really hope a lot of you have got a lot of motivation and positive feedback from Rohit sir, as he has, tried to guide you and help you and counsel you in the best possible ways. But due to short span of time, I know a lot of questions might have remained unanswered. So I'm sharing a link where you can always post your queries. Our experts, our team panelists are there to help you out and guide you at any point of time. So please feel free to reach us out on the website. I've already shared the link. And also, if you have missed this webinar, we have shared the YouTube channel link. The entire video will be there uploaded for you. At any point of time, you can go to our channel, subscribe our YouTube channel, and watch the entire video and revise the entire thing. Also, all the students, I think you could see a feedback poll on your screen. So I would request all of you, please fill up this feedback poll, as this is very important for us to help us improvise for our next webinars and get to know your feedback. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining us on this session. And I think it was a very informative session by Rohit sir, and he did try to, counsel you and motivate you in all the ways that we could, and yet we did try to, answer your queries and get a lot of queries we did get from you. Sir, lastly, one piece of advice for all the aspiring students, what would you like to give them?
Okay, Beta, all I want to say, work hard and stay motivated during doing the preparation. And even if the results are not in the favor, don't get demotivated. JEE Mains is not the only thing in the life. Your life is much more than JEE Mains, right? And but I wish you all the best for the examination. Keep working hard, and God bless.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful piece of advice. And I like to thank all the students who have joined us. We really hope the session was useful to all of you and hope to see you again in more such useful webinars ahead. Thank you and all the best to all the students.